Thank you, Dan. Hola, mis amigos, y bienvenidos a Estadio Nuevo Los Comenos. A very warm welcome down to the south coast of Spain. From a near invincible to near impossible. 4 top-flight titles with Arsenal, 7 games to save Granada's top-flight status. In the distance, the snow-capped Sierra Nevada towers over this stadium, symbolising the size of the mountain Tony Adams must help his team climb over the next 7 games. They desperately want to remain close to the summit of Spain's footballing pyramid. Celta Vigo, the first hill that they simply cannot afford to stumble on. Then there's even steeper challenges to come over the next few weeks, with Sevilla, Sociedad and Real Madrid all on the horizon. Granada have only beaten Celta on 1 previous occasion, but it was a hugely significant one. 1-0 here in June of 2011 to successfully navigate a second division promotion playoff tie. That summer they won promotion to the top tier for the first time in 35 years. In each of the 5 seasons since, they've clung on to their La Liga livelihood, Spain's masters of the Great Escape. Today they must beat Celta for a second time in a bid to spark what would be their greatest survival story yet. The 2 sets of players out on the pitch. The referee takes a final check of the watch and we are underway. Granada in the red and white hooped shirts, the blue shorts, white socks. Celta in the sky blue tops and socks and white shorts. And it's the home team on the ball attacking the goal across to my right, and they win a throw-in on this near side. And Paul Morton, what do you make of the selection from Tony Adams? 4 players who've naturally over the course of the season played at centre-back along the back line.
Yeah, I think he's going with the West Brom approach. I think that's what they do. Listen, he knows everything about defending. There is very little he doesn't know. So what he's looking at is, let's make ourselves difficult to beat to start with, and that's what he's doing. So he's going to go, it's that old platform to build from. I think that's what he's looking to do. But if they want to get the ball down and pass it about, then that may well be slightly difficult. So I think when you put defenders, you sort of stock up with defenders. What are you saying to your opposition? You're the home side. I would say get at them, because the 10 changes give you a chance.
Here's Ponce trying to get at them right now. He gets a cross in from the near side. It's charged down and goes behind for a Granada corner. So just over a minute played, and the home team have their first opportunity to put some pressure on the Celta Vigo goal.
Do you think he'd have worked on set pieces? They've got to score from wherever they can.
I mean, he's not had much time to work on anything, has he?
No.
The corner's going to be taken from this near side, out-swinging one towards the penalty spot. Andres Pereira took it, and he'll retrieve the ball on this near side again as it's cleared away. Still just 21 years of age, the man on loan from Manchester United. He wins a throw-in on this near side. Positive start from Granada. They will have been given a little bit of a boost, you imagine, because of the change of manager. It always seems to be the case wherever we are in the world that a change of managers sparks something in a team, and they might have a chance here as Pereira arrives onto the edge of the 6-yard box. It was a wonderful challenge right in front of him to stop him having an opportunity when he looked to pull the trigger, but a through ball there along the ground went through a couple of Celta defenders.
Decent cross, well worked from right to left actually, and I think it's Silva down the left, sticks the cross in, I think. And I've got to say, it's a wonderful piece of defending, good anticipation, because otherwise you're the attacker thinking, well, that's 1-0, I've got a tap in there, and the defender comes across and clears it. Wonderful start.
Artem Kravitz has just had to kick the ball out into touch because René Krin, the Granada midfielder, is down hurt. So Tony Adams has his first cause for concern on the sideline for Granada, one of his players down injured. But that was a fantastic goal-saving intervention of a challenge on the edge of the Celta 6-yard box, and we're just seeing,
he's cut his head.
Yeah, on the monitor in front of us, a shot of René Krin, who's got a big gash to the forehead, so that will need to be patched up before he can continue. 3 minutes played here on La Liga Live. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 0.
Good start, good solid start for Granada. You have to say they've kept the ball forward. I think they've put Celta on the back foot. And like I said, we're looking at this chance again. It was a great dummy at the near post. Wonderful defending, I've got to say. Not quite sure who it was from. It looks like, I think it was Planas, but wonderful defending, because that's 1-0 without a doubt, and what a great start that would have been.
It was indeed the left-back, Carles Planas, who was racing across into a centre-back's position to clear the ball away in front of Andres Pereira. Only his 8th league start of the campaign, a product of the Barcelona Academy, and he's already made a very timely defensive intervention. The ball back with the Granada goalkeeper, Guillermo Ochoa. who kicks long, and it will bounce in front of Ponce, who tries to get on the end of the loose ball, held back by Roncaglia and cleared away by the Celta keeper Sergio Alvarez. Bouncing ball on halfway is taken down by Celta, a chance for Theo Bongonda to run. Loses it on the dribble though, recovered by one of his teammates, but it ricochets across to the far side where Granada's Gaston Silva will be able to recover by his own corner flag. He looks to help it down the line, but gives it back to Celta, and then he'll play it down the line as it comes back to him again. And Celta move it back all the way to square one, and neither team at the moment really able to get hold of the ball and do anything with it. And there's a few jeers from around this stadium now because René Crin, who had to go off injured because of that cut to the head, is waiting to come back on. I'm not quite sure he's ready. He's looking across at the referee. The doctor there was still seeing to his forehead, but he is now back on.
Not quite sure what the moaning was about there. He clearly wasn't ready, and when he was, the ref brought him on.
Long ball forward into the Granada penalty area. It's headed away, and then a towering header by one of the Celta players, Pape Diop, over the top of Mubarak Wakaso. He used too much force and gives away the free kick.
It's been played at a tempo though. I think you have to say it's been a lively start by both sides. You know, normally you get the teams sort of feeling each other out, but no, these two are showing some confidence in their play at least.
No doubt that Granada have more to fight for in the league than Celta. They're 10th in the table, the visitors 12 points behind 7th place Sociedad, albeit with 2 games in hand, so they won't be completely abandoning any hope of making the Europa League again. They finished up in 6th last season, 8th the season before, but I'm sure they will be thinking probably their better chance of getting back into Europe will be going all the way in that competition.
Yeah. Well, you can see the decline this season. When you play in the Europa Cup is unforgiving. You play so many games, and very few teams can come out of that Europa and then go into La Liga and actually be successful. So it's not a surprise they are where they are.
Yeah, real difficulty for Eduardo Barriso balancing the 2 competitions as well as the domestic cup competitions, and Celta did get to the semi-final of the Copa del Rey as well.
Yeah, again, you go far in the cups. If you go deep in the cups, definitely it starts to play on your squad. So, but he's made, and the thing about it is he's made all these changes. So you look at Granada, these players that have come in will not be match sharp. They can't because they're not playing regularly.
Well, so 3 of them making just their 2nd starts of the season.
There you go. They cannot be in tune with the game. So as it settles down, Granada should be able to get a foothold in it because they'll be out of sync. They won't be in the rhythm that the normal sort of 10 starters would be. And that's what they'll be hoping, Granada.
Celta have the ball out the back. Carlos Planes on this left side of the defence, chips one down the line. Theo Bongonda, very pacey winger. The number 7 reaches it with his left foot. Lovely touch to take down the dropping ball, and then he fires it across the face of goal, almost half between a shot and a cross, and it drifts wide of the far post.
Great run. First of all, when the left back had it, he's come short and spun out, completely bamboozled his marker. Then there's a bit of composure, lifts it over one player, gets a smack in the mouth as he does that, and is able to produce a cross. I don't know whether it's a cross or a shot. Too far to be a cross, not accurate enough to be a shot. Couldn't quite make his mind up, but it's a good bit of play on the left-hand side.
He's a really raw talent, Theo Bongonda. He's a Belgian under-21 international, and a player who's got pace to burn. He's got a few tricks in his bag as well, but yet just 1 goal and 3 assists this season, and he has been a regular.
Well, you can see that in him. You know, like I said, wonderful bits of skill, and then and composure, and then the cross or the shot isn't quite one or the other, not quite made his mind up, and I can see exactly what you've just said. Pace to burn, good ability, it's that end product.
They're trying to get in again here, Celta. It was a ball over the top looking for Bovu. The referee's got in the way here.
Control, by the way, from the ref.
That will help Tony Adams and Granada if they can have an extra defender in the form of the man in the middle. And the ball cleared away across to the far side, bounces out to play for a throw-in. Bongonda's only goal, by the way, this season was against Granada back in November, so maybe he'll fancy his chances of getting another one here. Granada on the ball in the centre of the field, and now have it with Uche Agbo, who's the holding midfield player in front of those 4 centre-backs at the back. Very congested, packed defensive line. Certainly Tony Adams thinking the first port of call is stopping Celta at one end, but they do, I think, need to win this game, Paul.
They cannot keep giving the ball away, and that's what they're doing at the moment. You know, I think it was Ingerson had the ball there, and and just lobbed it up the pitch and giving it away. They've got to, and you look at Celta now, they're taking their time, they're passing, they're getting good touches on the ball. Granada have been getting it, and they're looking to attack straight away and giving it back to Celta, who are now dominating possession.
Yeah, the midfield players for Celta linking Diop, Jozabed and Marcelo Diaz. The ball chipped forward by Carles Planas up towards Beauvue. Granada back on the ball now, able to clear it as far as Uche Agbo and then up into the Celta half.
Lumped up the pitch again.
Yeah, they haven't really had any alternative plan to get the ball forward so far. It was a good opening couple of minutes, but they've just dropped the pace in the last 5 or 6. The long ball over the top, looking to use the pace and energy of Andreas Pereira, but it's straight through to the goalkeeper Sergio Alvarez. We've played 9.5 minutes here on La Liga Live. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 0.
And already Granada look fairly predictable in their play. You can see the problems they have because they're lacking creativity in the middle of the park, really. And the first ball from the back to front is lacking in quality as well. And they just continue to keep giving the ball back to Celta, who are now just dominating play, just dominating the pace and tempo. And, often teams that do that do come out successful.
I'm sure any work that Tony Adams will have done with them on the training pitch in his limited time in charge so far would be defensively getting them organised, but we can see there's no real imagination in terms of doing anything beyond that.
Well, I'll say, to be honest, his training will start with, when we lose the ball, this is what we're going to do. Schulze
coming forward on the far side for Celta, getting towards the corner flag. Plays it back down the line, and that's going to be a free kick for Celta. Deep crossing position over on the far touchline. It was a completely unnecessary challenge over on that far side from the Granada number 18, Andreas Pereira, who was back trying to help out defensively.
Doesn't need to do that. The rush of blood to the head.
It's a forwards challenge, one that he just didn't need to make.
Well, let's hope they don't regret it.
Team in a bit of trouble. Deep crossing position then from the far touchline as Celta attack the goal across to our left. 11 minutes on the clock. It's going to be whipped in right-footed. Deep into the penalty area. Only 3 Granada players at the back post. One of them heads away. Picked up on this near side by Bongonda, but he's eased off the ball by Ruben Vezo. A chance for Granada to get it forward. It's Route 1 stuff again, but a chance to run in behind here though for Ezequiel Ponce. He's into the penalty area and it's a tame finish. Really tame from the number 9. He scored off the bench last week. You would have thought he had a bit more confidence than that. He was bearing down on goal, completely scuffed it from an angle about 10 yards out, nowhere near the goal and nowhere near his teammate who was arriving on the far side as well, who would have had a tap in.
Well, first of all, it's a great ball over the top into sort of inside left position, and he fluffs his lines.
It was cleared away for a corner though, and it comes in. The goalkeeper's in a bit of trouble here. It's hooked over the top of the crossbar. Sergio Alvarez caught in no man's land, and in the end over the top via the right boot of Artem Kravets.
I think they're 2 chances, and again you can see the problems that they have. They're not taking their chances. It's hooked over the top. Back to the chance. What he's done is he's slowed down and given the defender the opportunity to get back at him, and he's nicked it. Now if he moves the ball away from the defender, then he's in with a clear chance at shooting. But it's almost like a forward who hasn't got confidence, lacking confidence, has to sort of set it up right instead of just moving it from one foot to the other, sliding it into the net.
You're right, it looked to me initially like he'd scuffed the shot across goal, but in fact the defender behind him just got his toe to it as Ponce was pulling the trigger and prodded it away. And that little toe punt almost turned into a pass for Andreas Pereira, who was arriving on the far side of the goal, but it was just in front of him and put behind in the end for a corner. And Ponce, a big chance, goes begging, and then one from the resulting corner goes begging as well. So despite that lack of imagination, they have had 2 chances in 13 minutes.
Well, they've been very direct, but what it said to them, what it shows them is actually we can hurt Celta. We can play in behind. We've got pace. And Celta don't look like the quickest. So there are chances there if they show the courage to actually get at Celta.
Like you mentioned earlier, Paul, as well, some of these Celta players with a little bit of ring rust as well. That would be exposed by this pacey play of Granada. Those long balls forwards. It's Ochoa who clears long this time up towards halfway. Celta trying to get it down here. Roncalia controlling on his chest and playing it back to the goalkeeper Sergio Alvarez. He's happy to pass the ball out from the back. It's a style of play that has worked well for Toto, Eduardo Berizzo, their head coach. They've been intent on playing that way despite their struggles in recent times. Back-to-back defeats in La Liga against Eibar and Valencia, just 2 wins in their last 8 in the league, but they're still going strong in the Europa League, as we've been saying. A 3-2 advantage to take to Belgium on Thursday against Genk. Long ball for them, chips over the top here.
Good ball.
Bovu looking to run in behind. Gaston Silva should defend well on that far side, clears it away, and it'll drop here for Uche Agbo. Barrett Wakaso moving towards the centre circle for Granada, passes it back, and they will start again from the back. 14 minutes played, still goalless here between Tony Adams, Granada, and Celta Vigo.
And if you look at what just happened, Agbo wins the ball 25 yards outside his box, drives forward, looking forward, and then turns around and passes it back. Within 3 passes, they're back in their left back position. So what is going on up front in the offensive areas for Granada, where, you know, Agbo cannot play a ball forward? He should be able to play a ball forward.
Yeah, if nobody's making that run and you've only got that one route to attack, there's nothing else you can do but go back.
And no one's making his mind up for him, because that's what you want. You want someone to make your mind up for you so you can find him with a pass.
Left-footed drive, charge down on the edge of the D here. Celta have got into a really good field position, halfway inside the Granada half. Everybody in red and white pressed back behind the ball. There's one slipped in behind there, looking for the run of Hulseyer, and it's cleared away across to the far side. It's going to be a throw-in for Celta. There was a little trip off the ball as well there. But Celta is certainly starting to dominate in terms of possession, at least. Jozabed, who was caught late as he played the ball through. It is just a throw-in, though. It's going to be taken from the far side, about level with the edge of the Granada penalty area. It's taken back down the line. They're happy just to keep possession. Alvaro Lemos moves it back to Roncallia. Forward it goes to Pape Diop. And they'll pass it back to Sergi Gomez, the other centre-back. Trying to move it forward over on the far side. Granada have everybody back defending, and this time it's a better job from Andreas Pereira as he gets back to help on the far side of the field and wins a free kick.
And you can see the two styles. Celta can play poor execution there, give the ball away, but you can see they're moving the ball from side to side, opening up gaps in the midfield and defensive areas of Granada that they're looking to exploit. Whereas you see Granada, it's one straight ball forward. One straight ball forward. There's no real, thought or imagination in their play at the moment.
Taken down here by Marcelo Diaz, who was almost barged off the ball. It's played back to the goalkeeper Sergio Olivares, who had to clear under pressure, and out into touch between the two dugouts on this near side, where Tony Adams in a blue polo shirt and dark framed glasses is gesturing across to some of his players. I just wonder which language he's speaking in, if the players understand English. I tell you what, you talked about that before the game, Paul. There's actually 18 different nationalities in this Granada squad. Wow. So I think language would have been a problem for whoever had the job.
It's got to be, and listen to the crowd, listen to the noise. Tony Adams is screaming at his team. How can anyone hear him, let alone understand what he's saying? So it must be very difficult, and I don't see an assistant. I don't see a number 2 there to help with the language at the moment. I really don't. I'm looking at it, he's up there by himself. Surely there should be someone else who actually understands the language to be able to interpret for him.
You're right, they've had the same translator at the club through 3 different head coaches this season. So he's had his work cut out for him, and Granada certainly have their work cut out for them over the course of these next 7 games. Celta still with all of the possession here, and they have it over on the far side, right wing for them, and they're happy just to slow it down at the moment to walking pace and almost try and figure things out themselves, because these players won't have played together a great deal. Just having the ball will give them a bit more confidence.
Exactly right, that's all. Just consecutive, confident, successful passes. That's all they want to do, because what they want to do is get into a rhythm and start to dictate the tempo of the game. The longer they have the ball, if they do win it back, Granada, watch how quick they give it away. And that's what tends to happen with teams that keep the ball. They win it back very quickly.
Celta have moved it across towards this near side now. Carlos Planas, and here's Theo Bongonda. Dribbles infield and finds Pape Diop. Back it goes to Marcelo Diaz, and again back to the centre-back Facundo Roncallia, who squares it for Sergi Gomez. And they'll try their look down the right flank now as it goes forward to Hulseyer. Infield, Beauvue runs over it. Nice piece of play. He's running behind as well. Bongonda, the return ball, but he's blazed it over the top of the crossbar. As Claudio Beauvue, he's one of those making just his second start of the season. He got plenty of power on that, but nowhere near the required precision. Right-footed over the top.
Well, it's wonderful play. Good over from Beauvue. Carries on his onside, slid in, lovely. It's a really good pass. And then, again, it's somewhat of a rush of blood to the head. I don't know if it bobbles a little bit for him. No, it doesn't. He's completely off balance and just it's a wild slash at the ball. He should be aiming for the far post, really, but it's high, wide and not very handsome.
Sharp thinking and sharp movement, though, from a player that's not played much at all this season.
Good play. Really good, positive play.
Ball cleared away down the line for Granada on the far side, out into touch for a Celta throw. And we've played nearly 20 minutes here on La Liga Live. It is still goalless between Tony Adams, Granada and Celta Vigo. Celta having all of the ball. That's the first real opportunity they've created, though.
And you'll know Tony Adams, because of where they are in the tables, Celta will have more quality. But you just can't let them play. You have to go and shut them down. You have to go and do the ugly stuff. You have to go and work and make them work.
Chance for them to get forward here. It was a ball back in towards Gaston Silva, I think, who got forward from left back. But it was a ball that had too much weight on it as it was returned to him and ran straight through to the goalkeeper. All of a sudden, they had 3 or 4 players springing forward there.
They did.
It's the first time we've really seen that.
That's where you can see the difference. Beauvue's part, the pass to Beauvue, beautiful weight. That one, you could see the difference in quality. Over here.
Celta lose out here. Mubarak Wakaso, a really good challenge from the Granada number 8. Pitches it back. A chance here to move it to Ponce, who slipped at the vital moment. It was a decent enough ball into him from Andreas Pereira. He was about 20 yards from goal, just off the edge of the penalty area, looking to control and maybe shifted ahead of him to try and move towards goal, and he lost his standing foot and ended up in a heap on the pitch.
Well, it's unfortunate. He actually moves well, makes a good run, checks out, so the ball comes across his body, but as he plants his standing foot, he slips. That's unfortunate.
Celta coming forward on the left flank now. Roncallia, they seem to be first to all of the loose balls. They're winning the 50-50s right now. Theo Bongonda hugging this near touchline. Looking to attack the near edge of the penalty area. Creates half a yard of space. There's a decent little bit of movement to do so, but then his cross at the end of it was poor and goes out of play on the far side for a throw-in.
He looks a decent player, but a little bit excited there. Beats his player well, but it's just over here to the far post, and it's a throw-in in Granada's left-back position.
To be taken by Gaston Silva. Down the line, it's flicked on, but nowhere to go for Granada. Celta clipping forward down the right flank. It should be allowed just to run for a goal kick here, and it does. So, Paul, your assessment, we're about quarter of the way through Tony Adams' first game in charge.
And he'll be quietly comfortable. He'll be happy with what he's seen so far. Celta definitely have more quality, and on the odd occasion, when they've got it right, they've looked quite dangerous. But he'll be pleasantly pleased with what he's seen so far. He'd like them to keep the ball a little bit better than they are. I've got to say, they're far too direct for me, especially at this level. You know, they're far too direct.
Ball over the top, and the goalkeeper caught in no man's land as he heads away. Ochoa looks like he might have just got away with that, but it's a return ball back. One-on-one opportunity, chipped over the keeper into the back of the net, and Celta have the breakthrough. It's Hozabed with a delightful finish. Delightful as he lofted it over Ochoa, who got away with the first mistake but didn't get away with the second. His defenders failed to help him out, and not the start Tony Adams was hoping for. His mountainous challenge just got even steeper. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1.
Well, again, I'm not quite sure what Ochoa in the Granada goal is doing. There is absolutely no need. Ball gets turned, spun round, and there's no need for him to come out. There really isn't. The defender would take, Ingerson would took care of it. He does come out anyway, and it's a wonderful reverse pass from Beauvue. Wonderful, and then it's a lovely little clip finish from Josabed. Is it against the run of play? Do they deserve it? I'm not so sure. When you're down the bottom, you have to cut out silly errors, and that's a mistake. There's absolutely no disputing that. That's a goal that's been given to Celta, and it's a mistake from the goalkeeper.
And it's a mistake from the keeper first. He looked to have got away with it. He retreated back into his penalty area. He then just needed one of his defenders to win a challenge in front of him. They were all a little bit hesitant.
All over the place.
And it just seemed as though Bovu wanted to get there first.
Exactly right, I agree. They didn't really recover very well. Once the ball was headed away, not enough recovered. Hosebed, I think, what he did was he sort of caught up with play, won his challenge, because there was a tame challenge. I'm not quite sure who the midfielder was. There was a tame challenge from Granada, and that's where the ball's won, and off they go and put it in the net.
24 minutes played here on La Liga Live. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1. They're trying to get in behind again here, Celta. Over on the far side of the penalty area, Gaston Silva got his toe to the ball, and Granada get the benefit of the doubt with this decision. They win the goal kick when it looked like it could have been a corner.
And again, they get in far too easily. I think the midfielders, there's not enough pressure on the midfielders. Great turn and play there. I'm not quite sure who the player was out there on the right hand side, but far too easy to get through. And they just need to clear their heads a little bit, Granada. Yes, you're disappointed you've conceded a goal. Clear their heads and get back to actually working hard, especially in the midfield area of the pitch, because I think that's where it's being won by Celta at the moment.
So much for that defensive organisation that Tony Adams was supposed to bring. But only the bottom club in La Liga, Osasuna, have conceded more goals this season. 65 or 66 now in just 31 and a bit games for Granada. It's more than 2 a game. They really do have their work cut out for them over the course of the next 65 minutes or so. Andres Pereira took back, free kick to them.
Tony Adams is a realist. You know, he'll have sat there and looked at all the stats that we've got, and he'll have been saying, well, hold on a sec. You know, I know what we are. Can I really affect them in this game? I'm not so sure. I'm going to go out, give them simple instructions, and let's hope that we can stay in the game and keep it tight and go in at half-time 0-0 maybe, which is not going to happen now. But can they nick a goal? Minimum, they go in 1-0 down.
Gasson has to win a header here. Lets it bounce over the top of him, and it's cleared away by Saunier. Across to the far side, something to chase here for Artem Kravets into the left flank position towards the corner flag. He's just applied enough pressure to outwin a throw-in. They've got deep into Celta territory.
Terrible defensive header. I think it was from Alvaro Lemos, a poor header. You know, he's gone to go back to the goalkeeper and put it into the left wing position.
Gaston Silva's wiped the ball as he looks to launch a long throw-in. Roncaglia has time to take a couple of touches in his own penalty area though and get the ball away on the volley into touch around halfway.
I have to say the atmosphere is fantastic. The crowd have been absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's really loud. You know, especially for where Granada are. You know, their support seems fantastic. It really does.
I don't think any of their fans will expect Tony Adams' appointment to mean survival this time around. They've got away with it quite a few times over the last 5 seasons since they won promotion. It's their greatest challenge yet in terms of avoiding the drop. There's a good cross into the centre, headed away just off the edge of the 6-yard box. Ponce was arching his back and flexing his neck muscles, looking to power it into the back of the net, and it was just clipped away in front of him.
What a wonderful cross that was, and it's landing on his head. Wonderful defended. He's ready. He's thinking again. Oh, I've got a tap in here. Wonderful defensive play again.
Good response this from Granada. Uche Agbo driving forward in towards Andres Pereira, edge of the penalty area. Touch back, left-footed strike over the top of the crossbar, but this is what the manager Tony Adams will have wanted to see. A bit of heart, bit of fight, bit of character from his players in trying to respond.
Yes, you can't fault them. They're working really hard. They're doing the best they can at this moment in time. They're competing, and you can't ask for any more than that. But again, you're playing against a team that's got just a little bit more quality than yourselves.
Delicious ball in from the near side from Ruben Vezo, who was forward from right back. Would have been a really good opportunity for Ponce in the centre. Delightful turn here though from Theo Bongonda. Skips away on halfway and he races in towards the Granada left back position. He's forced back though. He goes back into his own half, not afraid just to slow things down and keep his team on the ball.
What a wonderful turn that was. Absolutely beautiful to see. And he has the beating of, I think it's Ruben Vezo. He has the beating of him. He really does, and he knows it too.
Approach Approaching the half-hour mark here on La Liga Live on TalkSport 2. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1. Good strength from Diop in the centre of the park for Celta. He moves it across to the far side. The home fans trying to raise the noise level inside this stadium and get behind their team. They need everybody on side to attempt to keep fighting back from this difficult position in this game and this seemingly impossible position in the La Liga table. Gaston Silva trying to burst forward, was caught on halfway, no free kick given. Celta able to get back on the ball. The problem, Paul, for Granada in trying to come back from this position is they've only managed to score more than 1 goal in 4 of their 33 games in all competitions this season.
That statistic, I know we were looking at things like that off air. That's why the first goal becomes crucial. It's huge because they do not score many goals, and you consider how many times they've scored twice. You know, we were saying that before. How many times they scored more than 1 goal in a game makes it even harder, you know, but records are there to be broken, and maybe today could be the day that they do that. I'm the optimist, by the way.
The second worst attack and the second worst defence in the division. There's not too many optimists in this stadium.
Well, you must admit, more often than not, that team goes down with those stats. You know, you do very well not to.
Second worst in both categories, second from bottom. It's not hard to work out, is it?
Well, you know, you're looking at 3 worst sides if you're lucky. But unfortunately, these are one of them in terms of stats.
At the half-hour mark, still 1-0 Celta Vigo. Cleared away on the volley as far as Uche Agbo, just off the edge of the centre circle for Granada. And takes it down well, holds it up, moves it out to this near side to Ruben Bezo, forward from right back. He threads one forward in towards Ponce, who went down as if he was clipped. No free kick given there.
He wasn't. Look, he's got up fine. Look, he's got up fine. Not even limping.
The ball's played right down the touchline in front of Tony Adams and all the way through. A chance to attack here for Hozabed, the goal scorer. Square ball infield towards the edge of the D. Moved back by Hulsager. Across to the far side. Down the line it goes. Looking to give the Dane something to chase again, but he's put too much pressure on Gaston Silva and given away the free kick.
And they were in a good position, in a sort of inside left position, Celta, and then they turned sideways and backwards and didn't quite understand that. Great ball down the line, puts them in, 1v1, and I'm not quite sure why they didn't drive at the game there, maybe finish with a shot or a cross.
They've struggled away from home this season, Celta, but Barcelona the only team to stop them scoring in their last 7 games away from home now. They've scored 2 goals in 3 of those previous 6.
So they score.
You wouldn't put it past them scoring at least 2 here today. And this is with a completely rotated team as well. They've won a free kick halfway inside the Granada half, a little across towards this near side of the field. Carles Planas rolling around, clutching his ankle. Tony Adams, well, you can read that in any language, can't you? He's saying it was a dive.
Well, I'm not quite sure, because you know what? I followed the ball and then didn't see the player. I'd have to see that again. I think it's just, I think it's just a body check. I think he's gone to player 1-2 and the defenders just stood in his way, and it was that, old defending 101. Ball or man passes, but not both.
Free kick is about 8 yards in off this near touchline, deep position. It looks like they're going to just throw it in towards the penalty area. They shape to do so, but play it square. Then it's clipped in towards this near side. Looks to be one off the training ground, and Granada are able to deflect it back to the goalkeeper, Guillermo Ochoa.
Should have left that one on the training ground. It didn't look great, I have to say. Lovely skill. What a lovely
Ponce has gone away from 2 of them. Flicked it past one, prodded it past the second. Outside of the right boot, pass to Andreas Pereira, far side of the penalty area. He's forced away to the far touchline, and he's been caught as well. So this is a free kick for Granada in a really promising position.
Wonderful skill. I just felt he probably, before he passes it to Pereira, he could have just played Ponce in, I think, early, but he's taken another touch. Pereira's outnumbered over there. It's a poor challenge, a really poor challenge. I think it was from Diop. Didn't need to make it.
He's going nowhere.
He's going towards the corner flag. Didn't need to make it. This could be a chance now.
And the man who won the free kick is going to take it. The on loan Manchester United player with his right foot. He stands back from the ball a couple of paces, hands on hips, and looks to whip one in from the far side of the penalty area. Centre-backs, all four of them, up from the back.
This may be the ploy, this is why you have them. Maybe.
Pereira gets the go-ahead. He curls it in, it's low and flicked on, and just wide. Some of the fans in this stadium thought it was in because it bounced off the advertising board at the back of the goal and into the back of the net. And in fact it's gone for a corner, but it was very close at the near post to being an own goal.
Got to say, it's a great one because Josebet just at the near post glances it, gets a little bit on it.
Third corner of the game for Granada. It's poor this time from Pereira, over the top of everybody, and it loops behind for a goal kick.
There's a chance. Like I say, Josebet at the near post diverts it away. Looks like he could have played it into the net, but no, it's far enough away. He's doing his job at the near post.
It's about 2 feet wide of the near post in the end, the header.
Decent ball, poor corner, I've got to say. When you've got four centre-halves who are big guys who can go up and head the ball, you'll outnumber the opposition without a doubt, so you've got to get them things right. And when you don't score that many goals, set pieces are hugely important.
35 minutes on the clock. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1. There's René Crin, edge of the centre circle for Granada, plays it forward, a chance to try and turn over on that far side now for Andreas Pereira. A couple of step overs from him, he tries to slide it down the line, it's a good return ball back to Wukaso, pulls it back to the edge of the penalty area, it's cleared away. Here's Crin, much better this from Granada, deep cross in from him, headed towards goal by Artem Kravets. It was a very difficult header, the cross coming in from a deep position, he was backpedaling towards the byline, tough angle, and just rippled the side netting.
That's all good play from them, it really is good play from Granada, but it's just not enough. You know, the cross is decent, but he's backing off, so it becomes very difficult for Kravets to get any purchase on the ball. They just need a little bit more quality with that final pass, final cross, final product. Not quite at the level required for them to register a goal.
I think Tony Adams would be relatively happy with the good attacking positions they've got into. It's like you say, it's the quality at the end of that, isn't it?
That's the difference between both sides, is the quality or lack of. And like I said, Granada are there for a reason. And as the season evens out, the better teams in terms of attack will be further up the table, and those that don't score enough goals will be, and there's a reason why, because they're not creating enough, so therefore the forwards, they literally have to score with every chance they get because there's so few of them, and that's difficult. Artem
Kravets, who is their joint top scorer, is on a run of 12 games without a goal. Ezequiel Ponce, who scored off the bench last week, was a consolation at home to Valencia, and that was just his second goal in 23 appearances this season.
When you consider who's the top scorer for Celta, I know he's not playing. Aspas has got about 16, hasn't he?
He's been incredible this season. It's 16 in 28 in the league.
Incredible. Yeah, brilliant. And you need, if your forwards aren't scoring, then you need other players to be chipping in. And you look at Granada, they just do not have that. They do not have that. Every single goal is precious for them.
Throw-in taken down the line for Celta on this near side. We've got about 8 minutes of the first half to play. Here's Beauvu looking to race towards the near edge of the penalty area. Carles Planes has his cross charge down, and it deflects into touch on this near side for a Celta throw. There was a yellow card for Granada just a few moments ago. I think it was for Sverrir Ingasson. I'll look to confirm that for you in just a moment. Celta pass it back to the centre circle and then look to move it forward. They are passing the ball well. Square it goes to Marcelo Diaz from Pape Diop, and he was caught as he played the pass, so that is a yellow card for Wukaso.
And he wants to be careful. It looks like he's giving the ref a piece of his mind. It's a poor tackle, again a late one.
They're a little frustrated, Granada, in just trying to keep up with Celta, who keep having plenty of the ball. It was across the ankle from Wukaso.
Painful one, didn't need to. And again, they just look like Wukaso there was just a beat off the pace. So he catches him late, and it's going to be in the book for that. And when you've got midfielders like that who are making challenges already booked, the second half becomes very difficult when they start to tire just a little bit.
Celta have had 57% of the possession, and that's a piercing ball forward towards this near side. Bongonda tries to pull it back for Bovu, but it was intercepted and cleared away. Chance to turn on this near side for Granada. They've won a throw-in.
And he would frustrate me, Bongonda. What a wonderful ball that was down the line, and he's just taken too long to make his mind up.
Throw-in taken down the line for Granada. They'll try and get towards the corner flag on this near side. Roncalia defending. Gets it back on his own byline and looks to clear, left-footed, hammered away down the line. Headed back by Rene Crin for Granada. They're pressed against this near touchline. Uche Agbo does well to win a throw-in. 6 minutes of the first half to play if Tony Adams' team want to try and get themselves level before the break. Ruben Vezo wins another throw-in on this near side. The first yellow card, by the way, for Granada was for Ngasson, so 2 yellow cards in quick succession. Wakaso and Ngasson. This is a lovely turn from Agbo towards the byline, pulls it back. Ponce with a big chance here. He took too long over it again. It came back to him just inside the penalty area. He wasn't comfortable trying to shoot on his left foot, so he tried to prod it with the outside of his right, but he took a touch to steady himself as well, and by that time the opportunity had gone.
Wonderful skill by Agbo. I've got to say, the ball pops out, and again you can see these are players that aren't used to being in that area because he just was not ready. Takes a touch, 3 shut him down into corner.
Fourth of the game for Granada, outswinging one this time from the near side. It's bounced all the way through. Gaston Silva rifles it from the far corner of the penalty area over the top and not really anywhere near the goal.
And you can see they're working hard. They're getting in and around certain areas, but like we discussed a little bit earlier, final ball. Here we are, Gaston. Take his time. Take a bit of time, put it in the box. Not sure he's a goal scorer. As we see the goal again, it's a poor mistake. If the keeper stays in his area, that bounces into his arms. Sometimes keepers who have nothing to do, maybe they rush of blood to the head, they have to get involved. Didn't need to. Lovely finish though. The
goalkeeper headed away from just outside his penalty area. Wakaso, I think, actually won the challenge sliding, but he did so diverting it back to a Celta player, and then it was Ngasson who was really hesitant in trying to reach the ball first, backpedalled a little bit towards the edge of his 18-yard box, and by that time the ball was quickly whipped past him and Hozabed through provided a lovely finish.
What you do there as Ngasson is you just sort of shield the ball back into the goalkeeper. You know how defenders do?
Well, this is a yellow card for Artem Kravitz, so 3 in the space of about 5 minutes for Granada now, who are getting really riled up. Kravitz walking the disciplinary tightrope, as are Wakaso and Ngasson.
Needs to be careful. I'm not quite sure what it was for, I've got to say. Got to say, I'm not still. 3 of them went in net. His studs are up. Yeah, you can see it. I think he caught his own player, but his studs were up. He went down low, but his studs are high. They're shin high. And he's fortunate he's only got a yellow card, I've got to say. Didn't look a nice tackle.
I'm not sure if it was Bovu or Diop who got caught. It was Diop, but it was, like you say, studs raised at a right angle to the pitch, going in halfway up the shin of Pape Diop, and the fact that one of his own players cut across the challenge, I think probably spared him a red card.
I have to agree with that, yeah, because it was a terrible tackle. You look at it now, you know, it irritates me sometimes when players whinge and complain about all of that. It's a bad tackle, and sometimes you know when you've delivered a poor tackle. You try and talk your way out of it, but I think he's quite fortunate there. Like you said, the defender cutting across has helped him, I would say.
The fact that it was 3 coming together instead of 2 made the referee's job a little more difficult in seeing exactly where the connection was.
It's a painful one, I have to say. He should go off the pitch though, shouldn't he?
Well, Pape Diop
he should be
to his feet. I think that was a rule change this season, I think.
Oh, has that rule changed?
Yeah, it did seem a silly one, didn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realise that had changed. God.
Deflected away down the line and into touch for a Celta throw-in. I'm pretty sure they changed it.
Good.
So that
it's a good change because it can cost you so much. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Throw-in taken down the line for Celta over on the far side, right flank for them. But decision goes Granada's way for handball, and we're approaching the 44th minute. I mean, you can understand why they had that rule in the first place, in the sense of trying to stop people staying down and rolling around, but when it's a genuine injury, you shouldn't be punishing that player.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a spate of that happening, didn't it? And what that did was often it would slow the game down, especially if your team was attacking and lose the ball. you're rolling over, the ref knocks it off, and now the team that are on the attack lose the momentum of the attack. And it was being used as a tactical tool. It actually was, and that's why it changed. But it's good to see it change back, I think.
Yeah, there was certainly a problem they were trying to sort out. I think they just did it in the wrong way.
Agreed. Yeah.
Celta have the ball over on the far side, right back position. It's played down the line by Alvaro Lemas. Intercepted though. Casso with the square ball, approaching the final minute of the first 45. It's just gone a little bit flat in terms of creating any opportunities for either team. Ball played forward over halfway, won back forcefully by Marcelo Diaz.
Good tackle. It's got to be stronger there.
Pinched it off with Casso. Across to the far side it goes for Celta again. And happy just to take their time and turn back and play it back towards halfway, and then even all the way further back to their two centre-backs if they don't see the right option forward. For a team that have got 10 players who've come in, and a very much rotated team. They haven't played an awful lot this season. They haven't played together an awful lot at all. It's been a relatively decent performance.
They've been fairly comfortable, I have to say. One or two flash points for Granada. They were, but yeah, they've been fairly comfortable, I'd say, Celta. I don't know what's going on now. The ref's changed his mind on the throw-in.
As far as Granada are concerned, if you can't beat a completely rotated 10th place team who are out of form on your home pitch, you're not going to stay up, are you?
No truer words spoken, I have to say. It certainly looks that way, but like you said, they've worked hard. They've huffed and they've puffed. This genuine lack of quality is what gives them a problem.
Flicked around the corner here, Celta getting in over on the far side, a chance to pull it back maybe for Bovu. Forced away from the edge of the 6-yard box. Here is Bovu now, little step over from him. He just stumbled as he looked to maybe shoot on his left foot. Back to Marcelo Diaz, his long-range shot charged down on the edge of the D. Across towards this near side to Jozabed. He tries to play it in around the corner for Carlos Planes, who was getting forward from left back. It's cleared away, and we're about halfway through the only added minute at the end of the first half. Across to the far side it goes. Pulsay getting forward, his shot rifled against Saunier, deflected behind for a corner.
Well, I think they're all losing it a little bit because one of the Granada players is down, hurt his ankle. He's in a bit of trouble. And to be truthfully honest, some of the Celta players went over to him and they were trying to get one of their teammates to knock the ball off the pitch, but he didn't see it. In all fairness to him, he's got his head down, he's had a shot and everyone's had a pop at him, which is unfair. And it's an innocuous one. He's just gone over on his ankle.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be the result of a challenge.
No one was around him, and it's painful.
Artem Kravets still down on the deck.
Kravets, yeah. Wasn't quite sure who it was, but he looks like he may have to come off. Often things like that, when that happens, things like snapped Achilles and things like that. That's what, having done it myself, that's exactly what happened to me. Just turned and ran, controlled the ball, power was over, and no one near me. I hope he's okay. I hope he can carry on.
We're actually playing nearly a minute more than was indicated to be added on, and Granada are taking no chances whatsoever. Kravets is walking off. Good to see him at least walking.
Yeah.
But they are going to make, if they have time, a substitution even before half-time. It's a corner first, though. 47 minutes played here at the end of the first half. Outswinging corner from the far side for Celta as they attack the goal across to our left, cleared away at the near post, and there's no time to make that substitution. The half-time whistle goes. There's a few boos and jeers around this stadium, I think for some of the officiating as well as for the home players. Granada needing to win, you feel here, to keep up their fight for survival under Tony Adams, but they trail. A lovely chip from Jozabed halfway through the first half after a calamitous error from Guillermo Ochoa, the goalkeeper, and his defenders not helping him out in front of him. Was a delightful finish at the end of it. A big goal for Celta, who have changed all 10 of their outfield players. Granada still unable to deal with it. Half-time at Estadio Nuevo Los Comenos. It's Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1, and this is La Liga Live on TalkSport 2. Thanks, Dan. Just getting confirmation of that change for Granada, so it is one of their joint top scorers replaced by the other, Medi Carcela Gonzalez. 5 goals in 19 in the league, on for the injured Artem Kravets, who had 5 in 25. So we'll have to see what he brings. He's a different kind of a player, a bit more of a wide player, a bit pacier And you do feel at times that there is a chance to exploit, Paul, the space in behind Celta if they can use that pace.
Well, they've done it right. They've really put some decent balls in, especially in the channels, inside right, inside left position. They have done it on occasion, but like I said, once they get there, there's a rush of blood to the head. The final ball isn't quite as composed or of the quality required. Or when the ball does come in, number one, there's not enough players in the box. Number two, the decision making of the person who gets the ball. Can we do it quickly? No, they can't. We have to take another touch and another touch. Defenders come and shut it down, and that is what is happening at the moment.
Celta attacking the goal across to our right in this second half in their sky blue tops and socks and white shorts. For them, it's Sergio Alvarez, the goalkeeper Alvaro Lemos, Sergio Gomez, Roncaglia and Carlos Planas, the back four, Diop and Marcelo Diaz in midfield, Hulseya, Jozabed and Bongonda behind, Bovu up front. Granada just getting on the ball for the first time here, although they quickly lose it halfway inside their own half. They're attacking the goal across to our left in the red and white hoops, blue shorts. They have Ochoa, the keeper, who's made a mistake already, cost them the goal. Gaston Silva and Gasson, Saunier and Vezo in front of him, Wakaso Agbo and Crin in midfield, and now Pereira, Ponce and Carcela Gonzalez, the front three. Celta able to clear from their right back position here. Long one into the Granada half, taken down by Mathieu Saunier, and he squares it for Ingasson, his centre-back partner, who's one of a couple of players remaining on the field on a booking. Artem Kravets was one of the three booked in the first half for Granada. He's now made way. They quickly lose out here as they move it towards halfway, and it's played forward by Celta towards the edge of the penalty area. Saunier doing a good job of getting his body between the Celta player and the ball and ushering it away. He's pressed back into his own left back position here though, and the assistant's flagging on this near side because he was tugged back. You said, Paul, you could see signs of at least some optimism for Tony Adams.
Yeah.
But looking at the fixture list ahead for them, the fact that they are 7 points adrift, it's surely got to be 2 goals and a win for him in this second half. It has to be.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's got some tough games coming up. I think, as I'm looking, I think it's Seville and Sociedad Malaga.
Real Madrid.
I didn't want to say it. I really didn't want to say it. But yeah, they need something from this game. But, you know, the history tells you, for them, they don't score more than 2 goals very often. So
they don't score more than 1 goal very often. So,
well, they're going to have to do something. Like I said, records are there to be broken. They're going to have to break one today because they're going to have to score 2, I think, because they need to win this game as far as I'm concerned.
Marcelo Diaz square for Diop in the centre of the field for Celta, across towards this near side. They get the ball down the line for Alvaro Lemos, return back to Diop. And they're happy just to play it slow and play the possession game, Celta. And they've had the majority of the ball in the first 3 minutes of this second half, and they still lead by a goal to 0.
Well, it's good play. All they're doing is they're teasing and tempting Granada. They're showing them the ball a little bit and seeing if they'll buy it. And once they buy it, that opens up a bit of space to be exploited, and whoosh, they're in there quick. And that's what they'll be looking to do.
Here's Marcelo Diaz, happy to go all the way back to the back. And you can hear the home fans getting a little bit riled, a little bit worked up, because Celta are having all of the ball.
Exactly. Now what they're saying is, we want you to go and press the ball, and then one does, and the problem is one does but the rest don't, and that's where that person gets played round and they're off. Just looking for the gap and then they're off. And here it is, the huge gap for, I think it's Diop to run into.
Yeah, they've done exactly what you said, and they've moved it out to this near side. And had the pass been better,
exactly right,
across to Alvaro Lemos on this near side, they would have had an acre of room in front of him to try and attack.
Poor execution, that's all of a pass, but that's what they're looking to do at Celta, and it's the wise thing to do, because really, like you said earlier, Granada have to get something out of this game, so at some point they have to go and close the ball down, they have to go and press.
They have the ball on the far side, Celta, and they go back to the edge of their own penalty area again, to the goalkeeper Sergio Alvarez. A few decent openings for Granada in the first half. I can't think of a save that Sergio Alvarez really had to make.
I'd have to agree with that.
Celta trying to move it towards this near side. They have a chance maybe to get the ball in from the near edge of the penalty area. Left-footed cross. It's going to come to Bongonda on the far side of the box, and he was just leaning backwards a little bit too much, got underneath it, left-footed volley over the top of the bar.
Well, they took their time to get the ball in the box, and I'm not so sure. I think it might be Mubarak. No, it's Agbo there. I'm not quite sure what he was doing there, but then comes to I think it's Bongonda, and poor. But they're taking their time, and what they're doing is they're slowly working their way up the pitch. Celta Vigo. I think there's an injury to. Not quite sure who that is. I can't really see.
Yeah, Celta have a player down, rolling around at the moment. So we've got a stoppage 5 minutes into the second half here on La Liga Live. Time to remind you what we've got in this time slot next Sunday, and you won't want to miss it here on TalkSport 2. El Clasico, Real Madrid against Barcelona at the Bernabeu. Our coverage starting from 7 o'clock, kick-off at 7:45 in that one. And you have to feel, Paul, that if Real Madrid get the win, it's their title.
Without a doubt. That'll be the one Barca will be going for. They have to win it as far as I'm. Draw's no good. They have to win it. And that's what's going to make it a hell of a game. It's going to be so exciting. I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to it.
90th minute winner for Real Madrid yesterday. Both of those teams winning 3-2, but you just feel when those kind of moments go your way that it's going to be your year.
Well, you look at Real at the moment, they're just getting the job done. There are games where they've not been fantastic, they've not clicked, but they have the players to get the job done. And Barca the same. They've got, they're I suppose a better team. Real Madrid are better individuals who are beginning to gel a little bit. There's loads of egos there that you don't really get with Barcelona. So, it'll be a really good game. And I don't know which way it will go, to be honest. I've got to say, really don't.
Quite comfortably getting the job done here at the Estadio Nuevo Los Comenos at the moment. Celta Vigo. Granada have hardly had the touch of the ball in the opening 5 minutes of the second half. Still just a 1-goal deficit though. They do finally get on the ball now. It's been a very slow tempo to the second half. They don't have it for very long, Granada. A challenge giving it back to Celta and a chance for them to burst forward here. Little flick ball through towards Bongonda. Didn't quite reach the number 7, and it's passed away by Saunier. Granada just can't seem to move it with any real purpose into the opposition half. They'll try and do that here. It's chipped down the line towards Uche Agbo over on the far side. He's at least got halfway inside Celta territory and won a throw-in.
Well, the problem is there aren't enough options for the player on the ball. Agbo gets the ball there, plays it wide, receives it again. There is no one really. The centre forwards aren't moving. There's not enough movement. Very few options for the person on the ball, which is why they're giving it away so quickly.
Andres Pereira just ran infield into a horde of those sky blue shirts and lost the ball.
You look at Celta, they get the ball, there's at least a couple of options on. One forward, one backwards, and they're just stroking the ball about now. They've got so much time and space because, again, Granada aren't really closing them down.
It's almost like training ground stuff.
It is.
Celta at the moment, playing in second gear. It's chipped forwards towards the edge of the penalty area, headed out into touch by Saunier, and Celta have a throw about 25 yards from the corner flag on this near side. 8 minutes played in the second half. Granada 0, Celta 1. What I will say is at 1-0, they're very much in the game, Granada. They have to show us something else. Here's Wacasso. Able to move it on to Agbo.
See,
no pace, nothing further forward for him.
And that's a problem.
Marcelo Gonzalez finally offers something across to the far side, but Celta had got players back in that time and they've quickly pinched the ball back.
And then he's powder puff. He doesn't do enough to really protect the ball. And he leaves it out there to be competed off, and he shoulder barges off the ball far too easy. And there just needs to be a little bit more grit and determination from Granada in possession.
Gaston Silva's had to chase back towards his own corner flag, been able to win the ball forcefully. Not the Celta player to the ground, but no free kick given. They'll play it forward quickly here. Granada, that's what they need to do. They've still allowed Celta the chance to get back though. Wacasso.
He's got no one to hit again.
He's walking with the ball.
Yeah.
Across to the far side of the field. Now Uche Agbo's on the halfway line in the centre circle.
And look at the two centre forwards up front standing still. This is where they should be moving, because the ball needs to come into them, but there isn't enough real movement.
This is a good run though over on the far side to try and break down this Celta defence. Cross chipped in from the far edge of the penalty area towards Ezequiel Ponce, but it was pounced on by the goalkeeper Sergio Olivares.
we feel sorry for him. There's the big defender Ingwersen, but there's no one wants the ball again.
Poor clearance though, and it's played through towards Ponce. He tries to turn towards the byline, rifles it in from a tight angle, right-footed, deflected away and behind off Facundo on Calia. Granada at least have themselves a corner here, and the crowd start to just show a little bit of optimism as their team finally show them something.
And it's about time too. There just isn't enough in the attacking areas from Granada at the moment.
Fifth corner of the game for them. They've not really made the most of them. Outswinger this one towards the penalty spot. Powerful header away by Bovu, the Celta centre forward. Recovered deep here by Wakaso over on the far side. All Celta players back inside their own half at the moment. They go across towards this near side to Gaston Silva, Granada, and hang on towards the far side of the penalty area, headed away and out for a throw in 15 yards from the corner flag on the far side.
And Tim, you'll still say Celta Vigo comfortable. Really not really been put under any pressure whatsoever. The attacking at the moment from Granada is powder puff. It really is. It's lacking in any flair, imagination or individual ability. Something different from someone that it just doesn't seem to be happening.
I don't think we've even seen in the opening 11 minutes of this second half the kind of at least fight and character we were talking about in the first half.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been there, has it?
Long throw in from the far side. They're still on the attack here, Granada, although I use that term loosely. Pinch back by Pape Diop for Celta Vigo. The Celta can play a ball forward. It was a decent one. It was a good run in behind, but a little bit too much on it, and it's straight through to the goalkeeper Ochoa.
You know, sometimes you look at, we spoke about Tony Adams and what influence he's had at half-time, because they seem to have come out with less fight and less real urgency or desire. They really have.
And I think the crowd's starting to get on their backs as well here. Long clearance downfield. Quickly back into Celta possession again. They're not winning any of the 50-50s, Granada. Celta have the ball over on the far side with Theo Bongonda. He plays it back to Pape Diop. They're happy just to slow the pace down again and keep hold of it. Marcelo Diaz, his pass intercepted though. There's Wakaso. Stern challenge, really harsh, forceful challenge from Marcelo Diaz, and he went straight through the Granada player, and he gets a place in the referee's notebook for his troubles.
Well, what had happened was the tackle before that, he was on the ball actually, and Wakaso has come through him, won the ball fairly, and it's just a little bit of retribution, I would say. Painful one, I've got to say, although the rolling about probably done him a little bit more damage, I would say.
He took a lot of the ball, but he took all of the player as well.
Knew what he was doing.
And the free kick for Granada is inside their own half. They'll take it short and try and play it forward now into Celta territory.
Giving it away.
It was a really poor touch.
Well, you saw both centre forwards out of sync. Both of them came short. No one is going in behind, because often, when you play two up front, one comes to feet, one stays in behind, just to be able to stretch the game. They both came to feet. So you're looking at a team who are just out of sync, really. Don't seem to be working as a unit up front.
Here's Wakaso. Goes back to Saunier, forward ball from him. Ponce trying to roll away from his marker. In fact, Andres Pereira it was on halfway. And he was pulled back. It's a free kick and a yellow card. Hosebed, the player, to receive the latest yellow. It was a nice turn.
Yeah, what you saw there was as the ball's coming in, Hosebed blindside has just pulled him under his armpit and swiveled him around, pulled him off balance. No real need to. I don't see how you think you're going to get away with that. I cannot work it out. Should be booked just for doing something, just for being that stupid, thinking you're going to get away with that.
There's Agbo getting forward on the right flank for Granada, not for long though. Celta had a player go down off the ball on that far touchline. I don't think Bongonda has realised though, so he's going to continue driving forward. The ball out into touch for a Granada throw. And they take it quickly. They don't give the referee chance to stop the play.
Wakaso up.
Yeah, back up and back to full strength Celta. Wakaso to Agbo, back to René Crin, the three midfield players all getting a touch but going nowhere with it. Driving run forward from Ingasson, the centre back. It's a more ambitious ball from him up towards Carcela Gonzalez, but he can't control.
Well, at this moment, I feel sorry for the Granada defenders and midfielders, because they've got three statues up front. They've got nothing to hit. Ingresson's coming out with the ball. He's got nothing to hit.
Cross for Celta cleared away from the penalty spot as far as Wakaso. Now Gaston Silva into René Crin. We've played an hour. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1 here on La Liga Live on TalkSport 2. Crin's getting forward. Here's Andreas Pereira. What can he do? He dribbles away from one. Pereira looking to drive into a number 10 position. Really good run this. And it's a good pass at the end of it as well. Marcelo Gonzalez plays it back across the edge of the 6-yard box, and trying to arrive onto it was Ponce. It's turned away and behind for a corner here for Granada, but that's the first time that the three forward players in this second half have linked up.
Well, about time too. And what he's shown is when they get it right, they look dangerous. When they want to run about and move about and show a bit of desire and imagination, they look dangerous. I mean, the final ball wasn't great, but the way they got in there was wonderful play.
Will that give them a lift here? Just over the hour mark. They've got a corner from this near side. Granada attacking the goal across to my left. It's their 6th of the game. The referee's just having a word with Sverre Ingasson. Not sure what he's saying to him. He's one of those players on a yellow card. He's forward from the back for this corner, and then it comes right-footed towards the back post, headed back and just over the top. The goalkeeper came out, thought he could get there, and it was Ingasson who got over the top of him. The keeper nowhere near it, but the header not really too close to the goal.
He should score. Simple as that. For me, he heads out on target, back where it came from. He should score. It is a fantastic, I've got to say, it's a fantastic corner. Cuts the goalkeeper out completely. He's in no man's land. Ingresson, all he's got to do is head it on target for me, and it's into an empty net. So that's a chance. That is a chance.
It's a tight angle, but it's only a couple of yards out. The goal is completely exposed, and he heads it about a foot wide of the top corner.
Maybe slightly off balance timing of his header, but as far as I'm concerned, at this level, that's a chance.
It's those moments that you have to take when you're down in this position. Granada needs something from somewhere, from someone. Who's going to step up? Celta have the ball back at the moment, passing towards Bongonda, who is in a centre-forwards position, intercepted by Ingasson.
He's
tidy
done well.
Defending from him.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. Good on the ball coming forward. He lumped a few early, but he's actually quite composed on the ball, coming out with it. Remind me of Alan Hansen from many years ago.
Marcelo Gonzalez out to Agbo on the far side, pulls it back behind. Ponce might still come and it's Pereira. Put his foot through the ball, plenty of power, not really the precision though, as he rifled it right down the centre of Sergio Olivares' goal. It was a good stop from the keeper, but he clutched it into his midriff, and it wasn't either side of him, which would have made it more difficult.
Well, it's a decent cross, and it's one of them that everyone misses. Absolutely everyone misses. It comes to Pereira on the edge of the box, swivels. It's a decent strike, but it's down the throat of the goalkeeper. Either side, and the keeper's got a bit of work to do because it's hit really well, but straight down the keeper's throat. He's going to throw his cap on that and save that. But like you say, it's one of them pullbacks. Everyone's sort of run in advance of it, haven't they? And everyone couldn't get there, and Pereira's the only one, and he rifles. It's a great strike, I've got to say, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Did well to hold it, the keeper, because of the power.
Yeah.
Celta free kick up the other end quickly. I think just to sum it up, it's their 10th effort on goal, Granada. It's their first on target.
Tells you all you need to know.
Cross delivered into the box here at the other end. Header flicked on by Roncallia, who was up from the back, and it's about 4 or 5 yards wide.
See, if you put that into statistics, 10 shots, 1 on target. So how many would they need on target to score? Do you know what I mean? It's just, and it's very, very difficult for them. Very difficult for them. They have to score that one chance.
A flick on, but Celta quickly back on the ball. It's like I said with the Ingasson header, they're not going to get many chances. They have to take them. They've just had a couple of openings, and they've not made the most of them. They've not been clinical in front of goal, and that's why they are down towards the foot of the table.
When you're down there, yes, you have to take your chances. Yes, you have to be difficult to beat, but you have to cut out errors, because at this moment, this will be a battle in 0-0. And there's a loss of concentration that's cost them. It's not, you couldn't say Celta have carved them open and scored. It's a loss of concentration. Great finish, but this should be a battle in 0-0.
Here's Bongonda, far side of the penalty area for Celta. He does have the tools to carve open Granada. He plays it back short this time. They work it into the edge of the penalty area. Hozabed at the centre of this, and it's slipped back in towards Hozabed over on the far side, but Ingasson there, the defender, to intercept again, and he's able to clear. It's been the most solid presence at the back for Granada. Controlled by Marcelo Diaz on halfway. Celta will pass it forward again. Almost a lazy pass from Jozabed out to the far side. Just didn't need to be anything more. There wasn't a great deal of pressure on him. Diop trying to put in a challenge. Won back here on the edge of the centre circle by the tenacious Marcelo Diaz.
Better in midfield. I don't know if that's Agbo's beginning to fly around and put some tackles in, and they're winning the ball back now, Granada.
Andreas Pereira whirled forward by a wall of noise from the Granada faithful. Down the line it goes for Ponce towards the corner flag. He turns back towards this near edge of the penalty area. Square ball along the edge of the box. He tries to go for the return ball as well from Carcelo Gonzalez. Very nearly get on the end of it, but he just couldn't quite control 8 yards out, and it drifts through to the keeper.
Well, that's better. Showing a little bit of enterprise in their play. Ponce comes in, plays a straight ball, makes an angled run, and it's just out of his path.
There's 2 moments in this second half now that the front players have been able to link, and they've looked like they could do something.
And you kind of ask yourself, why has this not been happening? But that's done. That's done. It's where they can go from here now, and they just need to continue getting more ball up to the centre forwards.
25 minutes to play. Granada firing a blank on Tony Adams' managerial debut in La Liga. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 1 here on La Liga Live on TalkSport 2. The goal from Jozabed halfway through the first half. Just wonder what changes perhaps Tony Adams is thinking of now. He's been forced into one because of the injury for Artem Kravitz. He's still got more attacking options on the bench. Celta on the attack at the moment. Crossing opportunity from the far side. Pulled back. A chance just inside the penalty area, but I think it was Agbo did just enough to put off Hulseya. And now Granada urge forward again. Down the line it goes from Gaston Silva. Pereira something to chase once more. Defender cut across his path, but he's been able to apply enough pressure to win a throw-in.
Well, they're asking questions. You put that ball in the channel, it's asking questions of the defender. Defender has to defend then.
Ponce strikes it 25 yards out, but it was always curling away from the far top corner. It just came across his path nicely, invited him to shoot, but he didn't hit the target.
No, he didn't, but again, it's a little bit more enterprise. They're getting closer, so to speak. They're far more confident. If he'd been like that in the first half with that chance to just hit it straight away, but that's ifs, buts and maybes. But they seem to have the bit between their teeth just a little bit more, and even in midfield, they're beginning to get tighter. They're beginning to put tackles in. They're beginning to make it slightly harder for Celta. They win the ball back again.
Gaston Silva forward to Agbo. Mucasso flicked it on. Andres Pereira now getting forward down this left flank just into the near edge of the penalty area. It's a good pullback too there. Players arriving on the edge of the penalty area. Celta got a foot in, back to Agbo. That's a better hit from him, and he rattles the crossbar from about 35 yards. Thumping drive from Uche Agbo, and Granada not getting the luck that they need down the foot of the table.
What a wonderful strike that was. I'm sitting there thinking, well, he's going to take a strike. What's he doing? I was literally going to say, no, not from there. And it's moved a bit. It's what, 35 yards? It's a great strike. Keeper, nowhere near it, I've got to say. Looks like it's moved a little bit. Sliced it with the outside of his foot. Rattled off the bar. And it's a great chance out of number. Hopefully that will give them some confidence and momentum going their way.
He's 21, Uche Agbo, a product of the Granada youth system. He's never scored a senior goal.
Oh dear, okay then. Well, that was close.
He is their holding midfield player, but that was an absolute rocket from his right boot. Celta are going to make a change here. Andrew Hulseya, the Danish wide midfield player coming off, had been just his second start of the season. Didn't quite catch who was coming on there. Don't know if you saw that one, Paul. But Celta have made a change.
It moved very quickly.
I'll confirm that to you as soon as I can. Ball flipped through to the goalkeeper Ochoa.
I think it was Radoja. I think.
He's been a key presence in their midfield, Nemanja Radoja. 24-year-old holding player. Just over 20 minutes to go. Bizarre, really, that it seemed to take Granada 20 minutes in this second half. It looked like they'd given up on it for the first 20 minutes after the break.
It was embarrassing, but they seem to. I don't know what did it.
Bongonda rifles it in from the far side of the penalty area, left-footed, nowhere near the goal.
And you can see his teammates screaming at him, the ones that are in the box. They'd flooded the box. As we see that shot again from Agbo. The goalkeeper's nowhere near it. It's a wonderful strike, and yes, he's nowhere near it. But it's a shame.
Now things just not going Granada's way. They need something. They need a moment of inspiration. They'll try and get it here as it's moved across to Andreas Pereira. Could he be the man for this kind of a moment? Towards the byline, pulls it back, edge of the 6-yard box. It's cleared away and behind for a corner.
Well, it's better, and you can see what's happened in the midfield. They've taken control. They've taken hold of the midfield. You know, Agbo doing a little bit more. They just seem sharper. They just seem to be at it a little bit more, closing and denying Celta Vigo the space to play.
Corner from this near side taken by Pereira. It's looped over the top of the goalkeeper and almost curled in at the far top corner. I'm not sure if he got a touch on that.
I think he's got a touch, but if Granada have got a player at the back post, it's 1-1. Simple as that. If someone takes a gamble, someone anticipates that, it's 1-1.
Corner to be taken from the far side this time. Left-footed, in-swinging again. Gasson got his head to it, nodded it down, rifled in towards the near post. And a comfortable stop. I think there's claims for a penalty here by Granada as well. And Gasson
looks like it,
holding out his arms, looking across to the referee. It'll be interesting to see that one again.
Oh, do you know what? I think there's a hand up there somewhere, but it's moved so quickly I couldn't quite tell.
It was Ruben Vezo who had the final shot from a near impossible angle. Simple save for Sergio Olivares. 20 minutes to play. Celta up by 1-0. And on the attack again here, crossed in towards the penalty spot, headed forward by Redoya, who is the man who's come on for Celta in place of Kulseya. Here's Marcelo Diaz slipping it forward. Chance maybe to turn on the edge of the D, and it's going to be a free kick here for Celta. Only about a yard off the edge of the D, very central position. A chance for them to strike towards the goal of Guillermo Ochoa. If Celta score, then it's done and dusted for Granada today. Maybe even done and dusted in terms of their fight for survival.
Possibly, yeah, I'd have to agree with that. They've got some difficult games coming up. And you know, when you put up your cycle of games that you think are winnable, you can nick points off, this would probably have been one of those that they've thought that, especially with the way Celta are, that they could have nicked points off, but they've just not performed as they would have liked, I suppose.
About 23, 24 yards out this one. Marcelo Diaz, the midfield player, placing the ball very delicately just beyond the D. Looks like a wall of 5 for Granada. A couple of Celta players tagged onto the end of it.
Looks like he fancies his chances too, I've got to say.
Well, the Chilean has never scored a La Liga goal.
I'm saying nothing again. Well, there's always the first time. Records are there to be broken.
Bongonda's close to it too. There's Marcelo Diaz, though. It's over the top brilliantly. He's scored a La Liga goal now. Over the top of the wall, into the top corner. Goalkeeper Ochoa got a touch to it but couldn't keep it out. Perfect placement from the free kick from Marcelo Diaz as Celta's sword delivered deep into Granada's La Liga lungs. Tony Adams' team barely breathing now towards the bottom of the table. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 2.
Well, I tell you what, the little man's come up with something special. Well, you know, we're sitting here, you've just said, I said to you, I think he's licking his lips, I think he fancies this. You've said to me, he's never scored. Well, he has now, I'll tell you that much. Wonderful free kick over the wall, right into the far corner. Keeper gets a touch, but just not enough. Oh, it's wonderful, yeah.
Goalkeeper gets his fingertips to it, can only push it in off the underside of the bar.
He's actually
went
done
towards
well to
the
get to
near
it.
top corner.
He's actually, it isn't fully in there, but he's done well to get near it actually, because it's one of those, not whipped, it's almost like it's got a bit of top spin on it and it's coming down, and so he's done really well to get to it, I've got to say. That's
what I was going to say. What he's done really well there, Marcelo Diaz, because it was a relatively close free kick.
Yeah.
He's been able to get it over the wall and dip it back down.
Exactly, and that's an art. For someone who hasn't scored any goals, where's he pulled that from? It's a wonderful free kick.
Jeremy Boga's come on for Rene Crin. I think Andres Pereira's gone off as well. So that would be all 3 changes for Granada from Tony Adams. And desperation time now, really, with 16 minutes of the 90 to play.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? It's weird because that was slightly against the run of play, because they were actually playing really well, Granada. They were getting at winning the midfield battle. They were putting some tackles in. They just hit the bar with a great strike, and their tails were up just a little bit. And it's a body blow, isn't it? Really.
The other player that's come on for them is Hector Hernandez. They've got a quarter of an hour to score, 2 goals to get themselves a point, but 3 to get themselves the 3 points that they desperately need. As it stands, 7 points adrift of Leganes with 6 games to play, and a really tough fixture list ahead of them. Leganes, who don't face any of the big clubs in their remaining 6.
It's going to be difficult, I've got to say.
Celta looking to clear off the edge of their own penalty area. Forward it goes towards Bovu, who was held back. They're through on goal again. Here's Celta. Across on the far side of the penalty area. It's hit the outside of the post, come back and prodded into the back of the net. It is falling apart for Granada, and for Tony Adams, 3 goals and 3 points for Celta. Their second string has destroyed Granada at Los Comenes. Granada 0, Celta 3.
Well, it's come from the centre half, I think, for Celta. Brings it down on his chest, plays the ball into midfield, it gets set back, it's a third man run, it's played through, and it's all far too easy, far too straightforward. I can't quite, it was so quick I couldn't see who had the shot. The ball pops back off the post, I think.
The defensive line is all over the place.
All over the place. Hits the post, and it's a great finish from Bovu. Great finish, I've got to say. His anticipation, because it's picked up pace off the post, I've got to say. And for him to be there, he's anticipated much better than the defenders have. I've got to say, that shouldn't happen, but it has. And it depends on Celta as to how many more they want to score at the moment, because I'm not saying that the Granada have down tools, but the golfing quality is there for everyone to see.
It was a flash shot from Theo Bongonda from the far side of the boxes. Celta pounced and hit Granada on the break off seemed to be the outside of the post, but it sort of spun back into the centre of the goal very quickly, and Bovu just anticipated it, like you say, Paul, better than the defenders, got in front of them and prodded it almost on the volley into the back of the net first time.
Which shouldn't really happen. Defenders, first and foremost, is to anticipate anything, and slow to it. Bovu quick. That's why he gets there first and scores. And I don't think the goal scoring's over, unfortunately, for Granada. I really don't.
They have the ball, Celta, on this near side. Very slow their play at the start of this second half, and Granada failed to press them, and as soon as Granada looked to create some chances, it's almost as if Celta said, OK then, let's put this one to bed.
Well, what happens is, when Granada start making chances, the game becomes open and spread, and if you look at it now, there are so many gaps, and the Granada players cannot get anywhere near the Celta players. There's no one shutting anything down at the moment, and as the crowd allay every pass that Celta make.
There's 11 heads out on the field for Granada. They've well and truly dropped here. There's a stadium that's now half empty after that third goal went in. 2 in the space of a couple of minutes for Celta to extend their advantage to 3. 12 minutes of the 90 to play here on La Liga Live and TalkSport 2. Bongonda racing forward again. No look pass across towards Bovu. They're feeling confident now, although it's intercepted this time and cleared away by the goalkeeper Ochoa.
I think what you also have to consider is there's 10 players here who know they're not going to play in the next game for Celta, so they have to make their mark. So they will put this team to the sword, because I know that's what I would do. I want to score the 5th, the 4th, the 5th, to show the manager that I should be in the side, because that's what they'll be doing now, Celta players. They want to convince the manager to play me in the next game.
Of course, there's possibly a Europa League semi-final on the horizon for them. They all want to be involved in that.
Exactly right.
Celta are going to make a change themselves here with 11 minutes of the 90 to play, and in no rush to do so. Just trying to see who it is jogging off the pitch. It's Jozabed who got the scoring underway halfway inside the first half. Really bad mistake from Guillermo Ochoa, the Granada keeper, but a lovely finish from him. Only his second goal of the season. And on in his place, Josep Senye, 25-year-old attacking player. They've got a free kick here as well, Celta. This one not as good as the last. It's well over the top in the end by Pape Diop. Or in fact, Bovu, I beg your pardon. It was about 5 yards over that one.
Yeah, I think he had too much time on that one. He's great at anticipating stuff that come off posts, but not necessarily when he's got time to think, because that was terrible.
It was a real goal scorer's finish, wasn't it? Just that quickness in movement in the blink of an eye to get himself in the right position.
He was ready.
And just to react. And they're turning away on the edge of the penalty area. They've got themselves another free kick. It's right on the edge of the box. Senye's just come on, would have been free into the penalty area. And it's a yellow card for Gaston Silva.
I'm wondering if he turns, he's got a shot at goal. Time's gone by. That may have been. I have to look at it again. If he was the last defender, I'm not so sure. I tell you what. Interesting, because if he turns, I think he's got a free shot at goal. Doesn't really matter though. But here we go again. Who's going to take this free kick?
Well, Marcelo Diaz scored one a couple of yards further back from a similar position.
But it's not him taking it. That's the weirdest thing ever. If I've just scored a worldie free kick, I'm definitely taking the next one.
Well, like we say, he never scored a La Liga goal. Maybe it's a case of he knows lightning's not going to strike twice.
I've got to say, same thing again. If he gets it up and over the wall, there's a chance.
Joseph Senye tried to go low, anticipating maybe that the wall would jump. It didn't, and it's deflected away. He tried to, I guess, just do something different to the last one.
Yeah, but for me, I'm from the if it ain't broke school.
I mean,
pass the way to trouble.
I guess it makes sense if it's the same player taking it to try and do something different, but a different player. Cleared away by Granada up towards halfway. 81 minutes played here on La Liga Live on TalkSport 2. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 3. In Tony Adams' debut as a head coach in La Liga.
It's a difficult one for him, I've got to say, and I think he needed this, because this will tell him he can say as much as he wants. He can see now how difficult the job's going to be.
Cut back here from the far side for Granada. Nobody really there to retrieve it though in the penalty area. Celta back on the ball. Very slow this as they try and sweep it across from the far side towards the near side. Granada doing their best to battle, but they know this one is well and truly out of sight for them. And perhaps now begin to contemplate what seems the inevitable in terms of their campaign next season, which looks to be down in the second division.
Well, yeah, I mean, you start preparing for it, don't you? Until, some people won't until it's mathematically impossible, but you have to think about it realistically. It's going to be a difficult ask for them now, and I think with the games that are coming, it's just about preparing for life in the second league division of the Spanish league, I think.
Substitution here for Celta sees Pione Sisto come on in place of Bovu, whose job is done. He's got himself on the score sheet. Pione Sisto, a man who really made his name scoring twice for Midtjylland against Manchester United in the Europa League last season. He'll probably be involved in the second leg of the quarter-final of that competition on Thursday. Intercepted on the edge of the D for Granada. They'll try and pass it out here towards this near side. Still want to give their fans, at least the ones that have remained in the stadium, something to cheer towards the end. They got a late consolation at home to Valencia to make it 3-1 last week. They're trying to do that here against Celta, but the cross from Senye on this near side as he slips over, goes behind for a goal kick. Six minutes of the 90 to play. Granada 0, Celta 3. Just to bring you up to speed, the first goal halfway through the first half. Jozabed with a chip over the top of Ochoa after he'd been caught in no man's land and put his defence all over the place. And then in this second half, delightful free kick from Marcelo Diaz, 25 yards out, touched in off the underside of the bar, off the fingertips of Ochoa, and just shortly after that, Bovu prodding in a rebound off the post to really put this game to bed. Where does Tony Adams go from here, Paul?
Back to the drawing board. Like I said, it will tell him a lot about what he needs to do, and what you'll probably see with him is a lot of defensive work. What he'll want to do is try and limit the amount of chances that they give to the opposition in the next 4 or 5 games. So let's be difficult to beat first and foremost, because we're not going to score the goals. Let's be difficult to beat. So there'll be a lot of defensive work for the defenders, and for all the players. I think they'll defend from the front. They'll try their best to attack. You'll be trying to find a formula to attack that works for them. But it's, what do I see ahead? Pain. It's going to be painful. I've got to say, because like you said, Celta have made 10 changes. This is their second string, like you said before, and it's comfortable, and it's been comfortable since they scored their first goal. Really, if we look at it, they've huffed and puffed. Granada, they've had 1 or 2 half chances, but goalkeepers had very little to do, and it is somewhat of a practice match now.
The stadium maybe just around a quarter full. You can hear it's gone very quiet in here. Celta having all of the ball, move it out towards this near side. Pape Diop. Infield it goes to Marcelo Diaz. Nemanja Radoja getting a touch as well. And they pass it back to their centre-backs, everyone getting a touch of the ball. Still not out of sight for them, a chance at qualifying for the Europa League from their league position, although it would take a big turnaround in points. They're going to close the gap here to 9 with a game still in hand.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult ask, I've got to say, especially if they carry on in the Europa Cup. It would be a difficult ask for them. It's beyond them, and they're running out of games.
What they have done is finish in the top 10 each of the last 3 seasons, so they want to continue that.
Can't ask any more than that.
Granada on the ball now, on what could be one final attack. Slipped in on this near side, a chance to pull it across the face of goal, dear. And it's wide, side foot from about 4 or 5 yards out, and they failed to hit the target. Ezequiel Ponce, the guilty man again.
Well, I'm lost for words. Again, see, you look at Tony Adams and he's saying to them, well done, keep going, because they should score. There's absolutely no disputing that. That's a chance. Lovely play down the left-hand side, and it's a decent cross in, and it's just hit the wrong side of his foot, because really if he stands still and lets it hit him, it's a goal. It should be a goal. At very least it should be on target, but the keeper's fallen over. I don't know what'll happen now. He cannot play it.
Well, he does play it because he knew that he was being closed down.
Interesting here. What does he do? Does he go back and give another goal kick? What happens here? Oh, it's take it again because it didn't come out of the penalty area. Take it again.
Well, we assume the referee knows the rules. That's what he's given.
In theory,
he took the goal kick.
He slipped. Unless it comes out the box, it has to come out the box.
He kicked it off his standing leg as he slipped.
Yeah.
The Celta keeper Sergio Olivares. There's a yellow card for one of the Granada players in the aftermath of that. Ezequiel Ponce.
Yeah. Not sure what.
Presumably something he said to the referee.
I can't work out why he said. Do you know players sometimes don't know the rules? I tell you, they don't know the rules. There, the ball has to come out of the penalty area for it to be live. If it's not out of the area, it's not live. You go back and take it again. You get a flea in your ear from the ref, but you got to go and take it again.
Ezequiel Ponce not knowing the rules, not knowing how to finish today.
You're harsh, you know.
He's Argentine, which is good. He wears the number 9, which is good, but he doesn't look like a centre forward, does he?
Fair play. I mean, you know what? He's worked hard, and in spells there's been some decent set-up and link play from him, but you pay your number 9s to score goals, and
he's got into good positions, just hasn't been able to finish.
He hasn't. It's as simple as that. And he scores the 2 chances he's had. The game is different. There's absolutely no dispute in that. But
the clock is about to tick into the 90th minute. Granada 0, Celta Vigo 3 here on La Liga Live on TalkSport 2. The ball passed back to the goalkeeper Sergio Olivares, who's a bit more steady-footed this time as he launches it long into the Granada half, although there was an offside flag raised, I think, on this near side. Granada take the free kick quickly.
And the stadium's clearing, isn't it? And you know what? They're still working hard, Granada. They're still trying hard. They've not given up. You know, they're still working hard, but the quality is just you know, the gulf has just become wider and wider as the game's gone on, and now it's at a level that, well, you know, I feel for them.
You know what, Paul? We talked in the first half that it might be the other way around because these Celta players haven't played
exactly
enough. They might
right.
get tired.
Well, I would have assumed that, but they haven't had to exert themselves, have they really? So there's nothing to be tired about, I've got to say, and it's a strange one, I have to say. It's a real weird one. I'd have expected more fight. I'd expected, you know, but again, they're doing the best they can do without the quality that they need, really.
It's a damning assessment, really, of Tony Adams' challenge here at Granada, that they've been well and truly beaten by a second-string Celta team that have pretty much done this in second gear.
Yeah, they have. There's absolutely no disputing that. It's been a stroll in the park for them, and they've been comfortable. They really have. I feel sorry for players like Ingridson, who's been fantastic. He really has. You know, he's shown some real bottle. He's stood up, hasn't he? And not enough of the. And he's had good quality too, you know. And I feel there's a couple of players I feel for, but on the whole, individually and collectively, they've not been great.
We're towards the end of 3 added minutes at the end of the 90 here. Bongonda's just switched flanks momentarily onto this near side for Celta. Happy to pass it back down the line though. They'll go all the way back to their 2 centre-backs, Celta. They want to maintain their clean sheet to make this the perfect away performance.
I'd be surprised if they touch the ball again, Granada, if I'm honest.
They've been very good at keeping it, Celta. They've moved it from the defensive third through the midfield, now into the attacking third, 25 yards out from goal. Square ball here to Diop, off the edge of the D. Plenty of space for Bongonda on this right flank now. Looking to attack the right edge of the penalty area, back towards the byline, pulls it back. Might be a chance here for number 4 for Celta.
They're trying to walk
Square
it in.
ball, they are trying to walk it in, and in the end it was a poor pass across the face of goal towards Pione Sisto. Granada coming now on the counter-attack. Ponce, maybe one final chance for him. He reaches it before the goalkeeper, right on the byline at a tight angle, and he's blocked off by Sergio Olivares, who concedes the throw-in.
Like I say, they're working hard. They're doing the best they can do, but it just isn't good enough, is it? It's a decent
Shot from
strike
distance for Granada. It's stopped low down to the left by Sergio Olivares, and then he pounces on the rebound. And that long-range effort off the bar from Uche Agbo earlier in the half, the closest that Granada have come. They have had good opportunities.
Yes, they have. They have had good opportunities, and on another day with, you know, a little bit more quality or a little bit more composure or confidence, you know, you're looking at a possible 2 goals, I would say, definitely. But not to be today, and you know, they just need more. And I feel for them. I do feel for them, and fear for them, I've got to say. It's going to be difficult for them from now on in, I've got to say. And again, you know, you look at the teams they've got. You know, Sevilla next. You know, Malaga, Sociedad, Real Madrid, Osasuna. You know, they've got teams in around them, but then, you know, they've got some that, wow, well, you know, not going to be easy.
There goes the final whistle. Mission impossible. Now it seems it's Holy Week in Granada, but no chance of Tony Adams becoming the saviour at Los Comenos. The team annihilated in Andalusia. 3-0. Jozabed halfway through the first half, and then 2 in the space of a couple of minutes in the second half. A delightful free kick from Marcelo Diaz and an instinctive finish from Claudio Bovu, truly putting this game to bed. Celta played for much of it in second or third gear. It's finished here. Granada 0, Celta 3, and this is La Liga Live on TalkSport 2.